Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to WillCast, the podcast with the most creative name in the entire world. Thank you for tuning in as always, liking, commenting, subscribing, listening. What else is there? Favoriting? I don't think that's a thing anymore on any platforms. That was something you could do on YouTube at one point, and friending. I remember when I started YouTube like 10 years ago or whatever, you could be friends with people on YouTube just like on Facebook. Like you could friend people and you could chat. There was a chat system on YouTube as well. Those were the days, but you can't do that anymore. So thank you for doing everything else that you can do on YouTube and all other social media platforms. We're doing really well on Instagram and TikTok, which is awesome. I really appreciate you guys just killing it on there, tuning in, liking everything. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad that people can take something from this podcast, which is one of the big goals with this thing, that I can get to have conversations with people that are much smarter than me, that know things about various topics that can add some type of value to whoever listens to it. So I'm really glad that you guys can take something away from this. That actually means a lot. So I appreciate everything. Today it is another solo episode. I'm going to rant here for 30 minutes ish. And this is something I like to do at the end of a session or like a bundle of episodes, a bundle of podcast episodes. I don't like calling it seasons. I don't know why. I talked a little bit about this before. I don't know why I don't like separating or separating episodes into seasons on this podcast. It's like doesn't even matter. Like whatever, call it whatever you want. But we're going to have a 30-day break after this episode airs. And when we're back, we're going to have more episodes. I like to take a 30-day break so that I can have more conversations with people and kind of back up episodes. I like to have a schedule for a certain amount of episodes that I can put out. Um, and with the type of people that I have on, they're not necessarily easy to get a hold of. I wouldn't say, because most of them are people with some sort of following that they're busy people, and not everyone is going to want to come talk to me on a podcast that is essentially brand new. So it's kind of hard to get a hold of these awesome people. And that's why I like to take the 30-day break to prepare some episodes, to have some sort of a schedule. And so, yeah, this is the last episode before we do that. I'd like to say we're on Anchor now. The Anchor, the podcast platform owned by Spotify. We are on Spotify as well, if you didn't know. So we're slowly but surely expanding or amplifying where you can listen to WillCast, which is exciting, very, very exciting. And as I mentioned, let me get all the plugs out of the way. We are on Instagram, TikTok as well, as I mentioned, which is going great. On YouTube, of course. Yeah, we're all over the place. um, I'm going back to Denmark. Let's just start things off there. I'm going back to Denmark. For those of you who know, I have been to Florida. I am in Florida right now. I am in Florida for a marketing internship. And unfortunately, this is the end of it. This is my second last week here. So this is going to be the last podcast episode recorded in this office that you see around me. It's going to be so weird to go back home. I've been here for 4 months. It's going to be so weird. There's some sadness in this. It's a chapter that's going to close. And I realize with every door that closes, a new one opens up. And it's I'm grateful for the experience, but there's still some sadness in me that I have to leave. I've really enjoyed my time here. I've really enjoyed hanging out with the people here. Everybody has been so nice to me. The weather, of course, has been incredible. this whole experience has been life changing, and it has been a really, really good chapter in my life. So this will be the last episode you'll see in this office here. The two previous episodes, if I'm like, if I have everything planned correctly, there will be a few podcast episodes airing before this one that will already have me back in Denmark. But just know that I'm recording this before those. It's like the way I do this is so tricky. It's a bit confusing to me too, but just know that I by the time this goes live, I will definitely have been back in Denmark for at least a month or two. So I like to pre-record episodes. I'm actually shooting this episode right after the episode with Frank's Movement TV. This is the first time I've ever shot a podcast, or sorry, rather the first time I've shot two podcasts in a row in the same day. And that was such an awesome conversation, the Frank's Movement episode. Uh, so many things went wrong. In the beginning, we had to retake it four times, like four times. The fourth time was the charm in this case. The first time we tried to record it, his cat came into the room. Like, he had a locked door, but his cat apparently can jump and accurately get a hold of the door handle and open the door on its own, which was amazing in itself. I have never seen cats who could do it that accurately. So the cat came into the room. I mean, I didn't see it, the cat do it, but haven't heard of cats that can do it that accurately. Apparently, he does it like one out of three times successfully, which is pretty amazing. So his cat came into the room, and he wasn't too happy about that. So he suggested that we reshoot it. We tried again, and there was some internet connections problems. The second time we tried to shoot it, so we redid it again. The third time, we got like 5 or 10 minutes into the conversation, things were going so good, when I realized I wasn't recording. That's like a creator's nightmare and a podcaster's nightmare. I was not recording. So Frank, or Eric, his real name is Eric, was super nice about it. So nice about it. He was like, don't worry, these things happen. We can retake it. So we did. As you guys know, I normally don't like to reshoot and retake things on the podcast. I love like just the raw authenticity. Whatever happens, happen. I would have loved to have kept going from the first attempt with the cat coming into the room. But it is what it is. I'm really happy that Eric was so nice about it. Give me one moment. Need to hydrate myself. It is so hot today. And like the humidity in Florida makes everything feel so much hotter. It is crazy. I don't know if I would say it is too much. The summers back in Denmark, where I'm from, do not get this hot. Maybe very, very, very rarely, like maybe once or twice a year, it can just get this hot, but not regularly. This is like warmth, heat that I'm not used to, being a stupid white boy from Scandinavia. This is rough on me. I need to hydrate and put sunscreen on my body. I'm a little bit tan. I have gotten a little bit tan, but not a lot, because I've been frightened to go outside, to tell you the truth, because I get sunburned so easily. By the way, I'm repping my US tank top today. Just felt like pointing that out, of course, because it is the last podcast in Florida, in the US. There's a lot of things that I would have loved to have seen here in Florida before I left, but this is not the last time I'm coming to Florida. I'll be back for sure. I love this state so much. The people, the chill vibe. I love this state so much. People are a little bit, I think the chill vibe makes people a little bit lazy. Sorry to offend people from Florida. Like even you can tell by the pace that people walk. If you are like in the rare case that you see somebody walk on the street, because everybody uses their cars here. In the rare case that you do see somebody walk on the street, their pace is so slow, which is so interesting to me. Like, I like to observe people, the way people do things, the way people talk, whatever, the way people look, even. and and you know, and it's not judging, I wouldn't say, but I guess I kind of come to conclusions on my own, which kind of can be a good and a bad thing. But I've noticed that people walk very slowly and they have all the time in the world. And I think that's pretty typical for a warm state like Florida, or a warm country, or a warm place in general, that people are more chill and you know, just take things easy. And it's so interesting because I've been in New York as well. People's walking pace is faster. In Denmark, where I'm from, people walk fast. People have places to go. People generally, I shouldn't say people don't want to be outside, because that's not true. In the winter, I don't think a lot of people enjoy being outside. So, you know, you walk fast to get home or get to your car, get to the bus, whatever. And here, people enjoy being outside. So, you know, that's probably why they walk so slow. It's just an observation I had. Like, wow. So fascinating that I just talked about that for like 5 minutes. Like, who cares? Who cares about that? That's what this podcast essentially is, I guess. Like, whatever comes on my mind, I want to talk about. There was something else I wanted to mention. Um, I have like I've written down a few bullet points that I want to touch in this episode. Oh yeah, the food here. The food here, not, I shouldn't say the food, but myself. I've let myself go a bit here. Normally I try to eat really healthy. While I've been here, I've not been doing that. I've just been eating whatever, and I've enjoyed it. I've actually really enjoyed it, because when I used to live healthily, the food that I would eat would be so boring. Like, wouldn't taste of much, be very healthy, very good for me, but just boring. There's no pleasure in eating it. That comes down to me just being a bad cook, like, to be completely transparent. Uh, you know, you can definitely make healthy food that tastes good as well. I just don't think I have the capability. Can I speak? Thank you. I can't pronounce words. The capability of cooking good food. So here I've been letting myself go. I've eaten just whatever, so much bad food, and I've put on weight. I've put on weight here. And it's kind of interesting because one of the reasons I have done that was, well, there's a few reasons. One, I wanted to enjoy myself and taste and experience different foods. And another reason is kind of silly in a way. I've always wanted to try different diets. And recently I've been very fascinated by the keto diet. And supposedly this should be one of the number one ways of losing weight. But what I am more interested in is apparently the benefits it has to your health. It is supposedly so good for you, not only physically, but mentally as well. Cutting out carbs is apparently one of the best things you can do nutritionally. This is not 100% fact. I want to say that right off the bat. This is a not 100% fact, I don't believe, but from what I've gathered, this is supposedly one of the best diets out there. Again, this is from the research I have done. I don't want to conclude that 100% because I know there are mixed feelings about this diet. And, you know, one of them, you know, for health, probably pretty good. For sustaining that diet, I don't think a lot of people can do it because carbs is the most delicious of the macronutrients. It is the pasta, the bread, the rice, the fruit. Uh, Carbs is the best. In That's at least my opinion. I think a lot of people can agree on that. Carbs is the best tasting of the macronutrients. So cutting out carbs is probably pretty hard for most people. So where did I want to go with this? I want to try the keto diet. And so I've put on weight and I'm interested to see not only how fast I can lose this weight again. I'm assuming it's not going to take so long because I'm pretty good at losing weight. I have a very fast metabolism in general. So I'm not really too worried about that, but I thought it would be interesting to pack on some weight while enjoying myself here eating whatever to kind of experiment with that. And so when I get back home, I am going to not start the keto diet right off the bat, but probably a few months after I get home. I'm going to start the keto diet, and I'm more interested honestly in noting how I'm going to feel, especially mentally, because I already know the diet does play a role in your mental health. And supposedly keto is going cutting out carbs is really good for your mental health. So I'm really interested in trying that to see how I feel. Now, I'm not necessarily a depressed person. I have suffered from depression and I suffer a little bit from anxiety and I have a racing mind. I struggle turning off my mind and my thoughts. I overthink a lot, and often I have negative thoughts that affect me. So I do definitely struggle with my mental health. It could be a lot worse, is what I'm trying to get at. I feel very blessed to not suffer from depression anymore and crazy anxiety that I used to suffer from. But I struggle a bit still. I would say I'm probably about neutral. I don't see myself as happy, but I don't see myself as sad either. I'm probably in the middle somewhere, I would say. So anyway, wrapping up, like tying all this together, gonna try the keto diet. And one thing that I noticed, actually coming back to mental health, in correlation or in relation to diet, one thing that I noticed by eating so bad here is my mental health suffered from it. It's not just that, so many things. I ate so bad and I felt sluggish. I felt tired. I feel tired. I feel sluggish. I struggle a bit more getting up in the morning, which I usually never struggle with. I always, like, my alarm goes off, I'm right out of bed. Like, I want to snooze so bad when I wake up in the morning now. I don't know what's going on. Like, something has changed in my life. The things that have changed are my nutrition. There's a lot of other things that have changed, of course, but that's like the biggest change, I feel like. Of course, moving to a new place, but nutrition is I feel like the thing to blame here. I feel I feel like I get easily more irritated, actually, which is also strange because I'm never really angry or mad. Like, I never get mad or angry, but I feel easily irritated and I feel brain fog every now and then. I am pretty sure the nutrition that I've been consuming here plays a big part in how I've been feeling. Especially the last month I've been here, where God knows how many terrible things I've been eating has just piled up in my body, done terrible things. So in a sense, I'm pretty happy that I'm going home so I can start changing my diet. I mean, of course I could change it right now, but I kind of set a goal of just eating whatever. What do you call that? Not a goal necessarily, like whatever. I set a goal, or more of a rule maybe, that I would just eat whatever while I was here. If I was going to stay longer, I would have changed my diet 100%. I don't really feel like I could go longer than this. I don't know how people do it, how people eat junk food every single day. Some days I really just feel sick, and I don't eat junk food every day. Like I eat from the cafeteria every single day here at my internship, and they don't serve unhealthy food necessarily, but they don't serve the most nutritious and healthy food here either. So, and they have a bunch of options to choose from, and typically I just choose whatever. I don't have nutrition or nutritional values or macros and micros in mind when I choose my food to eat here. I just choose whatever, which definitely plays a role. I could probably choose something more healthy from the cafeteria to eat, but haven't been doing that. And so if I was to stay longer, I couldn't have gone much longer. I don't feel great, and my workouts have suffered. My cardio especially, like not only from putting on weight, but I like just the way I feel internally, I guess. The energy I have is low. I don't have as much energy as I usually have, and it's gotta be the nutrition. That's my conclusion, at least. So I'm in a sense really happy to go back home and eat properly again. Have to stay hydrated. I think I want to make it a tradition to make the last episode before we take the 30-day break a solo episode, because I like to take this opportunity to also reflect on the podcast, to reflect on the episodes that we have had, the guests that I've talked with, and and also I think I would like to make it a tradition to make the second first episode uh after the 30-day break a solo episode, to set the bar high, to kind of, as like a startup, to make to kind of explain what we have coming up, that sort of stuff. I like to do these solo episodes, as I said, to reflect on the podcast. There has been a lot of very, very good episodes in this round, or this bundle of podcast episodes. I feel very blessed to have this opportunity to talk to some of the people I've talked to. Not only is it just amazing that I feel like I get educated on so many things, but as I mentioned earlier, it's amazing that you guys can take something out of this too, which is the goal of this podcast. I want to add some sort of value to the listeners' lives. And it's amazing that we can do this together on this podcast. So grateful for the people that I've had on the podcast, and super grateful for everybody tuning in. There was one more. I've written on my little notes here. There's something I want to show you. Something that I did not notice about this office until today. Look at this. If I can do this, if I can successfully show you this, it'll be awesome. There are paper airplanes in the ceiling. Like, how weird that I haven't noticed that at all until just today. Have they always been there? No one knows. There are paper airplanes in the ceiling. And I know you care so much about that, because that is very interesting. That's why I mention it, of course. But that's it. That's it today. I feel like this has been a good bundle around whatever of podcast episodes. I'm repeating myself because I don't know how to end this. That's another thing about this podcast. It's making me very self-aware. I like to, when I look back and listen back to these podcasts, I learn so much about myself, which is amazing, that I don't feel like any other type of content that I've ever made in my life. Like I've been doing YouTube like on and off. I've been making gaming videos. I made blogs. I made TikTok videos, short format videos. I don't feel like any content I've ever created has taught me so much about myself. which is incredible that this podcast is doing it. Because listening back to some of the podcast episodes, I learn like how I interact with people, and I can reflect on why I say certain things, why I act in a certain way. Like I notice something I do, I say right a lot. I do that a lot. So like after I would say something, like as an example, let's just say, um, working out is good for you, right? Like I would say that to a person like in the middle of a conversation. And even like small things like that, I think the reason I say right, like, is because I want people to agree with me, and maybe because I'm a bit insecure in what I'm saying. So after I said it, I need confirmation that what I have said is not stupid, maybe. Like those are the type of small things, but essentially it's so small and so minor, but it can teach you so much if you reflect on it. Like think about, why do I say the certain things that I do? Why do I say and a lot? It's because I'm afraid of silence. Like I'm afraid to, like, there's silence right now. I don't know what to say, so I will fill in the gap with and because I feel insecure. I think that's it. I feel insecure about speaking because I am a bad speaker. That's a fact. I am not good at communicating. I'm not good at talking. I'm not good at getting what I have in my head out through my mouth, essentially. That's something I've worked on my entire life. I don't know why I struggle with it. I think my mind is too fast for my mouth to follow up and say and communicate what I have in my mind, because my mind, if I think of a thought and I want to say that thought, my mind has already moved on to the next thought way before I can even get to say the first thought. And so I like kind of fumble and stutter. I don't stutter that much, but I like kind of mix words together, and makes it hard for me to speak. And again, that's something I've learned through the podcast, like kind of reflected about, thought about, okay, why am I bad at speaking? Maybe that is why, maybe this is why. And I don't claim that I know 100% why I am the way I am, but I think reflecting over it teaches you so much. And with all that said, enough is enough. That's it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm really excited for the upcoming podcast that we're going to see in 30 days from now. I'm having such a blast with this podcast. This is one of the funnest content type of content I've made ever. So interesting that I used to really enjoy making TikTok videos, which were like 10-15 second videos. Now what I enjoy to make is like half an hour videos, essentially. It's like the exact opposite. It's interesting how things work out. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's it. I have nothing more to say. I have a lot more to say. That's not true, but this is where we're going to end it. There is going to be a lot more episodes in the future where I can talk however much I want. So again, I know these solo episodes are not, of course, not as popular as the guest-based episodes, but I like to use this opportunity to put out a solo episode every now and then, again, to reflect, say thank you, kind of give you my thoughts on everything about the podcast and not about the podcast. So yeah, thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff that I appreciate as always. Take care. See you next time. Peace.